friends, and welcome back to this week's Self-Love Masterclass. If you are new here, my name is Renee Love. I'm the CEO and founder of Modern Day Wise Woman, which is an online self-love coaching practice and private school. And here at this channel, or wherever you're watching this video, we talk about all things self-love, energy medicine, holistic health, psychology, embodiment. I like to put these things all under the umbrella of holistic self-love. So I've been doing this for many years now, and I've got so many videos. So if you look in the description box below, you will find a bunch of playlists. Definitely check them out. I'll also link some of them up here. And whenever I think a video would help you with whatever we're talking about here, I will also link that above. Now, these videos tend to be pretty fat and chocked full of information. So I recommend that you grab something that you can capture notes with, either your iPad or your phone or some kind of piece of paper. And without further ado, let's get right into the video, because I cannot stand when people spend like 10 minutes talking about something that has nothing to do with what you came to the video for. Today, I just want to talk to you about your expectations. I want us to do a little bit of a check-in. I want to make sure that your expectations are set and in alignment with the things that you want to manifest, with the things that you are creating, and with the things that you want to receive. I want us to also talk a little bit about why it's important to set expectations and what happens when we don't set expectations. And last, we'll just talk about the difference that having really powerful expectations make. So first, let's look at your expectations. Take a look at your day-to-day and ask yourself, what am I expecting to happen today? Are you expecting to have a good day? Are you expecting to have a crappy day? Are you expecting to receive things that you want? Are you expecting to receive money? Are you expecting to receive a new deal? Are you expecting to be complimented? Or are you expecting negative things or things that you find not so desirable? Are you expecting people to be rude to you? Are you expecting to lose money? Are you expecting to not feel well? Really examine what your expectations are. Expectations are very similar to intentions in a way. Intentions are the things that we set, but expectations are often the things that we set automatically, subconsciously, without even knowing it. And the thing that is important for all of us to really understand is that if we have negative expectations, and in this case, I'm coining negative expectations as things that are undesirable for us, things that are unwanted for us, okay? Not necessarily that they're bad for us, because sometimes the things that we don't want are actually kind of good for us and serve a greater purpose, but that's a whole other thing. Essentially, for the moment, I'm saying negative things are undesirable or unwanted things, okay? If you expect undesirable things to happen to you, then they're more likely to happen to you. If you expect great things to happen to you or great things to cross your path, it is more likely for it to be so. Now, you may be wondering, how is that possible? I don't know. That doesn't necessarily make any sense. But if you do a check, like if you do a little bit of an audit on when you were expecting things to go well and when you were expecting things to not go so well, how things actually went, what you'll find is more of the time the things that happen are consistent with what you expected. Now, I understand why sometimes we set low expectations or negative expectations. Part of the reason that we do that, my friends, is because when we have unexpected things happen, those things often fall into the category of undesirable for a lot of us. What we do automatically for self-preservation and for protection is we say, okay, I'm going to not expect good things to happen. This way, I don't have to feel pain. This way, I don't have to be disappointed. This way, I don't have to hurt. This way, I'm also prepared. The more prepared I am, the more I'm not going to get hurt. That is something that is a strategy that works, and I've even talked about it here in other videos, that sometimes we need to adjust our expectations. Sometimes they're too high, but there is a difference between consciously adjusting or modulating our expectations versus just automatically from our reptilian brain or our subconscious setting low expectations that actually create a limit for us. I am going to walk through life expecting good things to happen to me because that's what I am pulling for. And when I set a positive expectation, when I expect good things to happen to me, it means when something out of alignment happens, something that's kind of negative or unwanted, I don't latch onto that. I don't attach myself to it. I don't get stuck in this 3D thinking. I don't get stuck in like, oh no, this happened, now this means this and that and the other. I basically blaze through that. I like blast through it. It's kind of like a little hiccup. It's not a big deal. And then I get back into the vibrational alignment or back into the perception or back into the reality of good things happening to me, which means I'm more of an opening, more of an access, and more of an invitation for those things to be so. If you are constantly expecting bad things to happen or expecting unwanted things to happen, you are an invitation for those things to happen to you. It basically means that your lens is attuned for unwanted things to happen. And so even when you could have changed the circumstances, or you could have blazed right by it, or you could have just like overcome it, you're more likely to be stuck in the mud. And that's why you continue to get more things that stick you deeper and deeper and deeper in the mud. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, tell me in the comments, yes, 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 it's making sense. Give me some kind of indication, okay? I want to make sure that these lessons are somewhat advanced, but that they're not like way over the head. So this is why it's so important to do these kind of checks and to understand what are your expectations. Because there are times when your expectations are set too low and now you're creating an upper limit for yourself. You're creating blocks and barriers. Or there are times when your expectations are too high and you're not listening to your intuition and it's creating blocks for you as well. Let's move on to the next section, which is why it's so important for us to set these expectations. So I've kind of talked a little bit about this in the first part, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. As I mentioned, setting expectations is very similar to setting an intention. An expectation, when you set it, suggests that you are going to attune your lens for certain things to come to you or for your life to be a certain way. Similarly, I'm going to use a little bit of a metaphor. I'm going to use a self-worth metaphor. If your self-worth is higher, you're more likely to expect to be treated better, and therefore, when you're not treated so well, you respond in a way that has people understand that you deserve to be treated better, and they adjust or they move the hell out of your life. The expectation goes along with that. If you are always expecting the worst or don't expect much, you are going to act like a person with low self-worth, like you tolerate low effort, you tolerate little and nothing, you settle for scraps, you are operating at a state of consciousness and awareness where little comes to you, where you have to work too hard, where you have to do too much, where you give too much. Expectations of yourself are too low, and therefore expectations of others are too low, and therefore everything that you pull towards you is in low vibrational frequency. This is why it's important to know, and this is why it's important to set those expectations. Likewise, let's say you have someone who every time they disappoint you, every time, every time they disappoint you. Yet your expectation is that they are going to do what they said they would do. There, you have set an expectation that makes absolutely no sense. It'd be one thing if you want to set an intention. That's a different thing. I'll talk about that in another video. Like I said, they're similar, but not exactly the same. Versus an expectation, okay? This is you not honoring the reality of the situation and plastering on an expectation that doesn't match and doesn't fit, and likely so you can continue to tolerate the BS that is going on. And that speaks to a self-worth issue. So this is why it's important to be setting expectations, to be clear about these expectations, because expectations are a reflection of what's happening deeper inside of ourselves. It's telling us more about how we feel about ourselves, how we view the world, what we allow, all of that kind of stuff. And so when you and I are working together, we're doing this deep inner work, we are getting into expectations big time around all different kinds of things. What I want to talk to you about in this part is how to set the expectations, how to set your expectations. What are the things that are going to help you to set them? Like, what do you need to factor in and what do you need to look at? So we've got 2 columns for expectations. And perhaps I'll do an online course on this. I don't know, we'll see. But you've got 2 columns for expectations. You want to have a column that is expectations I set for myself, expectations I set for myself, or expectations I have of myself. And then you want to have a column for expectations that I have of others. Okay, expectations that I have of others. There are going to be all different kinds of people that fall into this category. The expectations you have of yourself and for yourself are foundational and are the most important. These are the ones that are really going to set, again, as I just said, the tone for everything. So your expectations for yourself, we want those to be high. We want your expectations for yourself to be high. We want it set so that you believe and expect to be treated well. You expect to be compensated well. You expect good things to happen to you. You expect things to be abundant. You expect good health. You expect these things. So these things you want to be high. In order for them to be high, however, your self-concept, your self-love needs to be at a certain place. Otherwise, you don't believe it. And that's part of the reason why it's valuable to work with a coach and to work with a therapist and to work with people that can really help you to reconfigure your sense of self and what's going on there. Where are the cracks? Where can you improve? Particularly with self-development, like the earlier stages are just getting ourselves to baseline. But then as we advance, it's about taking things to another level. It's about that quantum state, okay? Now, I got to move on, right? I got to move on to the next thing. Expectations of other people. This is where you want to be really, really grounded in reality. This requires you to have 2 things. It requires you to have an honest sense of awareness, an honest sense of awareness. So the ability to not see people as who you wish they would be, who you want them to be, who you hope they could be, like this, that, and the other, right? And in addition, it requires you to have a great sense of intuition, which supports you in pattern recognition and the ability to apply past knowledge, not past baggage or past fear or past ego, but past knowledge to present and future situations. So you have those two things, you're going to be able to see people clearly enough to be able to set the expectations accordingly. So now, jumping back, when you have high expectations for yourself and of yourself, and you have the ability to accurately set expectations for others, now you are rocking. Now you have some power, okay? I'm talking about serious power in the way that you show up, in the way that you create, in the way that you attract, and your ability to manifest, all right? And so this is where you want to be, where you want to get to, and once you get here, where you want to begin to really start to push yourself towards deeper levels of consciousness that allow you to live a better life, to love harder, to live better, to be healthier, to grow and expand and really bring the people that you love and care about and want to see win into that. And then it becomes like all of you as family and close friends and community, like really just like living an amazing life, right? That is what I'm talking about. This is why expectations are so important, and that is this week's self-love masterclass. What did you learn in this video? What are you taking away from this video? What are some personal stories that you want to share? I would love to hear what you have to say. Leave that in the comments below. And if you liked this class and you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know. It helps me to know what content you really find useful and what I can give you more of. I know there's a lot of you that are not in a position right now where you can do one-to-one coaching. Although I think that is the best thing, you are doing the best with what you've got. And so I want to give you as much as I can out here at no cost. All right. So let me know, what are the videos you want, what was helpful, etc. Give it a thumbs up. Y'all, that is it for this class. It is so great. I'm so grateful to be with you all. Until I see you in the next one, be well, and don't you forget that we truly are in this together. Mwah.